Welcome back to Prosperity and Education Podcast. I'm your host, Ty Johnson, and today we're here to talk about cars. It's what allows us to get to our jobs, allows us to go see our family, and overall just allow us to do some fun things. But some people treat their vehicles just as cars, and others treat it like a work of art. Today, we're with someone that transforms your vehicle to a masterpiece. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to Daniel Ramirez.
Hello, guys. Very excited to be here. I have a shop called Aesthetic Styling. We're here in Naperville, Illinois. We have a huge 10,000 square foot building, and we do paint protection film, window tinting, and ceramic coating. If you don't know what that is, we'll get into that. Pretty much what we like to call ourselves is a very high-end detail studio.
Sounds good. So, with educational platforms, we have a huge drop-off in viewer retention.
Okay.
So, for those people that are watching, for the audience, can you let them know why they should stay tuned in and what they're going to learn today?
I would stay tuned in if you're really looking to make some money and if you're looking to be successful. A lot of people will tell you, you have to go to college, you have to do this, you have to do that. I went a completely different route. I did something as simple as detailing cars. It's not hard to learn. So if you're looking to make six figures a month and more, you could start with $5,000, $10,000, $15, $50, $100, then keep watching because I'm 28 years old. I did it myself. I had no background in doing detailing. No one helped me. You should definitely, keep watching.
That sounds great. Yeah, I'm very intrigued. I'm very interested because it's stuff that I don't even know either.
Yeah.
And so let's start from the beginning. Right? Because you said a 10,000 square foot building.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't start here.
No.
Where was that initial start for you?
So my initial start was actually down the street from here. Actually, the initial start was out of my garage.
Okay.
And then out of my garage, it was also out of a U-Haul storage unit where I paid $150 a month. Anything that we had to make it work, we made it work. But then from there, we started in a 1,000 square foot, little tiny unit, could fit about 4 cars. That costed about $800 a month. So that was where the business officially started. But I did start before that just to make sure that I can make money before I, sign my life away on my first shop.
And so now I'm trying to think, why wrapping cars? Like there's so many, it's bigger now. A lot of people are getting into it now.
Yep.
But when you started, very, very niche, very, very small community of people that were doing that. I didn't even know it was a thing. I just got introduced maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
Like, where did this idea come to put, essentially, in layman's terms, a big sticker on a car? Where'd that come from?
That is a good question. I know for like the commercial side, like you ever see like those business vans or trucks driving around and they got like what business it belongs to, the phone number. That's been around for a long time. The personal side of it where we started to wrap mom and dad's cars, like kids' cars, stuff like that, that is a lot newer. That typically started, I would say, around 2016, maybe a little bit earlier. I didn't get into it until about 2018. The way that I got into it was I just got lucky and I fell into it. I always loved cars as a kid. I had bought my first car from the dealership. It was like a $10,000 car. I was very proud of it. And I wanted to black out the roof. So it was something as simple as that. And back then, I was working at Maggiano's as a food runner because I was too young to be a server. I was making about $17 an hour back then, which I know now is, I don't know, probably not that much. But I wanted to black out my roof. And I thought you had to paint it. So I was very hands-on. Let me just YouTube it. YouTube was a big blessing for me back then. So I YouTubed it. I figured out that this guy wrapped his roof with vinyl. I ordered some vinyl off of Amazon. Cost me like $50. I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? That's how I fell into it. That was the initial start. Once I started doing that, I had a lot of friends that wanted to wrap their roofs. Simple thing like a roof. Started doing it for them. Charged them $20, $30, $40, $50.
Beautiful price.
Yep. Very easy. I told them, hey, buy the material. Give me, $30. They were completely down for it. I started finding out like, hey, if I can make money off my friends and their friends, can I make money off of other people? Just a very simple question that I just thought, and I'm like, let me try. And before I knew I was marketing it. What I mean by that is I started posting ads on Facebook, on on Instagram, on OfferUp, on Craigslist. Craigslist was huge back then. So I started posting on there. It was free to post. Didn't even consider it an ad. Just thought, hey, can more people get their eyes on this? Started getting phone calls. Hey, can you wrap my roof for this? Can you wrap my roof for this? Fast forward 3 months from then, I started making more money than I did at my daytime job working at Maggiano's. So
Okay, that's very interesting. Just from wrapping roofs. So at this time, you're not even wrapping the body of the car.
no, just roofs.
Okay.
Yeah, just little accents here and there. Like started with roofs, then it was mirrors, then it was spoilers. Just little tiny accents on these sports cars. Not the full car yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And this is still out of the garage at this time.
out of the garage. Yeah, this was actually out of the U-Haul unit before the garage. So this is where we didn't even have a garage to wrap it out of, and I rented a U-Haul unit where I couldn't even fit the full car in.
So what made you think, you know what, I'm a bet on myself. I'm gonna spend this money because at this time you're not making more than you were making at Mariano's
Yeah,
or Maggiano's.
Maggiano's.
You're not making more than you're making at Maggiano's.
Yeah.
But you still decide to pay for this U-Haul.
Yeah.
Is it because so many of your friends were coming to you? Like what made that?
Yeah, so pretty much the way that I looked at it was it was zero risk to me. And what I mean by that is the U-Haul only costed me $150. I was making that at Maggiano's. And at that time, I was living with a family member. I didn't have rent. All I had to pay for was gas, insurance, and my car note. So I had some money left over. But also, I was selling it to my friends. And my friends were paying me 30, 40, 50 bucks. So I'm like, it's really not that hard. You need three roof wraps in the entire month just to cover a $150, insurance note. Not to mention, like I said, I made more money at Maggiano, so I can always back that up if I need another $100 for my, normal day job. I was fine. So it wasn't really like a risk at the time. It was more like, let me just try this out. Because I'm a big believer in if you're going to do something, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Always have a backup plan. So that's what I thought about.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And so I think you did a really good thing there by not putting all your eggs in one basket. But I think betting on yourself is kind of huge too. But also eliminating it wasn't much overhead. Like you said, you live with a family member, so you weren't paying rent. Your expenses were very low. I think that's huge because I think a lot of people, when they jump into entrepreneurship, they have too much overhead, and then you end up drowning because things don't always go to plan.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey in the entrepreneur space?
That's a long journey. It's been a long, stressful, hard journey. But it definitely pays off. We can definitely break it up into different portions for sure. But pretty much like the early years, because I've been doing this for about 8 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. I started when I was about 19, 20 years old, and I'm currently 28 years old. And when I mean start, I mean like when I did my first roof wrap. At that time I was going to college, College of DuPage. I was going for business of marketing. I was working at Maggiano's, and then I was doing it on the side. The initial first year was mostly just hobby, like just straight hobby. Let me just enjoy it. Let me make some money on the side. I still had my daytime job. I still had to, do my schoolwork, so I didn't really care about it too much. The second year was when I took it a lot more seriously, but the reason I took it a lot more seriously was a lot of things happened in my personal life where I was no longer able to live with a family member. I had to move out on my own, and I really had to make some money. And so that's the first initial, I would say that's when the entrepreneurship started, because that's when I did have to place a bet on myself. That's when, I had to figure out, okay, how am I going to do college, work my daytime job, and try to pursue this on the side? Because if I didn't try to pursue this, then I would only ever work my daytime job and just go to college. And still, college for me was still a question mark,
And so were you kind of influenced to go to college? Were you pushed to go to college? Did you feel like that was the only route?
I was definitely pushed to go to college, 100%.
Okay.
That's something that I always felt my family. My family is second generation here. So they were pushed to go to college, as them being younger. They all have degrees. They all, make relatively good money. They all have benefits, stuff like that. And they all have houses, So that's the American dream to them. And because it worked out for them, they were very on top of me of, hey, you have to go to college. If you don't go to college, like the big thing for me when I was younger is if you don't go to college, you're not going to be anything. That was, and I think that's a struggle that a lot of people, hear, because it worked out for their parents, so it has to work out for them. The one thing that I started to realize at a young age is, one, I didn't like college all that much, but it wasn't because of college itself. It was because someone told me that I couldn't be anything if I didn't get a degree. I thought that was a lie. I thought that was BS. Like, there has to be another way. There's a reason that there's people that are doing way better than some others. So what route did they take? Fast forward to today's age, I mean, college, it's a big hit or miss. In my personal opinion, it's a really big hit or miss. If you're going to go to college, make sure you utilize that degree. It's expensive. It's getting very expensive. So if you're going to go to college for something, utilize it, right? Pay off that debt, utilize that degree, be specialty in that, be the best that you can be in that, make a lot of money, you'll be great. But a lot of people are going to college and they don't even know what they want to do in their life. And that's where, for me, I always knew I wanted to be a business owner. Didn't know what business I wanted, just always wanted to be a business owner.
Yeah. And so I what I hear in that is that it's not, I'm into this new thing of yes, and instead of the ultimatum of this or that. And so I think as you probably in high school, you always kind of knew maybe you wanted to be some type of entrepreneur, maybe work for yourself at some point.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why you got into business. And now that you went to college for that, it still was beneficial. Well, going to college was beneficial even though you wanted to get to entrepreneur space because you went to college for business. And so now that stuff that correct me if I'm wrong, that you're doing in a business is beneficial that you took that and got the information in college. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think it's I think it's very important that we do expand. College is not the only way. Yeah. As you said in the beginning, YouTube taught you a lot. Yeah. But doing your due diligence and getting educated on whatever space you want to go into is very vital.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, because I think sometimes you talk about the struggles in the beginning, which everybody goes through. If you're not educated on what those kind of look like, how to battle back from them, you will drown.
100%. And that's where I like the yes and, because honestly, my personal opinion is, like, even though I don't believe in college myself, I would still tell everyone, try college, because you don't know what doesn't work for you until you try it. That's the whole purpose of life. Like, the guys that are very successful, those are the guys that have tried things and failed 10 times, and then they got that one thing right and they ran with it. So I didn't know college wasn't for me until I actually did college. The reason I found out college wasn't for me was because I was going for business of marketing. And at that time, like I said, I was doing marketing on my own on Craigslist, Facebook, stuff like that. Every marketing class that I had, the guy was telling me about how he sold toaster ovens. He could have done anything else. He could have sold exotic cars. He could have lied to us. I was falling asleep in that class all the time, and that was my favorite class that I was looking for, because that's the journey. That's the spot that I was in my entrepreneur spot, where I needed to learn marketing. And if I'm falling asleep and I'm paying for this guy and I'm just falling asleep and I'm learning nothing from it, that's when I'm like, you know what, I'm better off just trying this the hard way and just failing a bunch of times and figuring it out myself, Now, looking back now, I would definitely have taken this one step further and it's hard when you don't have a lot of money at the time, but if you can't learn something from college, find someone that has that specialty. There's someone out there that has done the hard work, that knows, like, for me at that time, it would have been marketing. So if I could go back in time, I would have even taken out a loan to try to find someone that was really good at marketing and say, hey, this is what you need to do in your post, so this is how you get more leads, and explain that to me. If I knew that back then, I would be a lot further than I am now.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you didn't really have a mentor when you got into this.
No. So I was very on my own for most of the entrepreneur journey.
Okay. Did you acquire some now as you've been moving up?
I have, yeah. And you definitely have to pay to play. So you have to spend some money, spend some time, spend some effort to get mentors. But mentors are 100% the route to go if you can find one, if you can find a good one.
Yeah, and that's something that I hope doesn't fall on deaf ears and people receive that. I think finding a mentor was huge, but I think what you said about pay to play,
yes,
is very huge, because I think for mentors, especially when they get up to a higher level, they have to see that you are really in this thing. They have to
Yes.
see that you have some skin in the game. They have to
Mhm.
see that you're willing to put in the work
Mhm.
because their time is very valuable.
Mhm.
They didn't make it to where they are by wasting their time.
Exactly.
So they have to show you have to show them that you're worthy of their time.
Yeah. And that's the most expensive thing that no one could buy is people's time. And for the guys that have been very successful, they're very limited on time. So it took me what 6 7 years just to I had to literally get into this building to have my landlord be my mentor because my landlord is a multi millionaire. You know, he owns multiple properties. He owns a huge commercial insurance company. So I got in this building not only because it's a perfect building for us, but also it was a little bit more expensive than the other ones that I was looking at, but because I wanted that mentorship and that network. I've been in this building for 2 years, and I'll tell you, I know a lot more of his network now than I could have ever imagined. And so you definitely have to pay to play where you need to learn a certain amount on your own. You have to fail a certain amount on your own. You have to pick yourself up a certain amount of times on your own. Give that struggle, show some results, and that will prove to someone, hey, I can do it. No matter what the odds are, I can do it. And that's all you need for a mentor. And then you'll be like, hey, can you mentor me? These are my credentials. This is what I did. I just need a little bit of advice here. They will 100% do it.
Yeah, yeah, and I hear you being strategic and specific as well, and I think that tailors right into what you do for your business. Like if we look at these cars, you're taking things apart, you're taking door handles off, bumpers off. You have to be very precise with these things because outside of a home, a car is the next biggest purchase that people make. Can you talk about the precision that goes into your work?
Yeah, so there's a ton of precision. Basically, so if you don't know, we didn't really explain what we do, but paint protection film, vehicle wrapping, what that requires is for us to take apart a car, right? And back then, when I first met you, we were taking apart, relatively new cars, but still like your average daily drivers. And what I mean is like your 40, 50, $60,000 range cars, right? If something breaks on those cars, like it's expensive to fix. If we cut the paint, we got to get it repainted. If we mess up some clips or some bolts, we got to, pay to get those fixed. The cars that we're working on now are a lot of six-figure cars. We got a Range Rover Defender right behind you that's brand new. That one's probably $130,000. Right now, we got a lot of, I would say, relatively nice cars, but typically in the summertime when we have sports cars, we'll have Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, stuff like that. You have to have an insane amount of precision because you're taking apart a brand new six-figure car. Some of these cars they're meant to be taken apart, but some clips are not meant to be reused. So you have to know what you're doing. Now, the key to precision is, as much as I wish I could do everything myself, I can't. So I have to hire people that are really good at their job and they know, hey, I've taken apart Porsches before I could do it again. I've taken apart Range Rovers before I could do it again. I've taken apart Lamborghinis before. Like we had a Lamborghini SV, not SVJ, but it was a SV. It's like a $400,000-$500,000 car. We had the door jambs off of that. We had the doors completely off of that. We had the hood off of that. We had the front bumper. That thing was taken apart completely. Made me a little bit nervous.
I was about to say that because I'm thinking man, especially you're the owner. I'm thinking I don't like to be a hoverer. I don't like to be a micromanager.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be over their shoulder man, be careful, put this here.
I'll send you a photo, man. I even shot a photo of me inside the hood because the hood, there's no engine. The engine's all the way in the back. So I just wanted to take a funny photo. We had it up on the lifts, wheels off. It literally looked like it got into an accident. That's how much we took it apart. The reason we had to take it that much apart is because I had gotten wrapped in vinyl. It was a white car originally, and I got wrapped in this matte black color by another shop. And we had to take everything off. And they tucked so deep into everything, which, to each their own. But we had to take everything off just to get all of that wrap out because we were changing the color. Not to mention there was a ton of stuff that was broken. So we had to just record if we took something off, we have to record it because liability, we got a Lamborghini owner that's going to blame us for anything that's going wrong. So we had to record everything. We had a list, a huge list. Hey, here's a photo here. This is broken. This is missing. This is blah, 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 right? Then we have to give them the options like, hey, what do we need to replace? What do you want to replace? Are you willing to spend the money? We could fix it, whatever. But yeah, that was a very intensive project. We did it about a year ago to date. That was the first Lamborghini that we've taken apart to that extent.
And there's so many things that you just said there. There's so many different ways I want to take this conversation. Yeah. But let's go back. So you mentioned that we didn't really get into the depths of what you do. Yeah. Let's take some time and talk about the day-to-day aesthetic styling. What does that look like? What are we selling now? How are we getting to this point?
Yeah, so where we are currently here in 2025 going into 2026, we mainly specialize in paint protection film, color change paint protection film, window tinting, and ceramic coating. What those are is your paint protection film is going to be typically what you could get at the dealership. It's this clear film that goes on the front end of the car or the full car, and it protects it against rock chips, scratches, all sorts of stuff. Comes with a 10-year warranty, and a lot of people know about it. It's been around for a lot longer than like your normal vinyl wrap, and people do it because not only will it retain the value of your car, but it protects your car. And a lot of people, they don't want to see all these rock chips on their car, so it'll protect it, right? That's our main bread and butter. That stuff can be as low cost as $1,500, which I know that sounds like a lot, but it could be as high as $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Like it definitely gets up there. Then you have color change paint protection film. That is pretty much the upgraded Mac Daddy version of your normal vinyl wrap. Pretty much you got your vinyl wrap, which is your cheap material. It'll last you about 2 to 3 years. It'll change the color of your car. So if you have a white car and you want to go black, it'll make it black. If you have a red car, you want to go gray, it'll make it gray. Color change paint protection film just takes the qualities of normal paint protection film, the same plastics that are in there, the same thickness, and just injects a color in there. So it's pretty much like the upgraded version as your typical vinyl wrap, right? Then you got window tints. I don't think I need to explain window tints. Everyone knows what window tints are. And then you have ceramic coating, which is like a liquid that goes on the vehicle. It bonds to your paint, and it just makes it extremely easy to clean. Dirt, grime, all that stuff, they don't stick to it. So that's what we do today. But that's not where we started. Where we started was just your normal vinyl wrap, and that's what pretty much started everything.
Yeah, because I know I came in, I got a vinyl wrap. And one thing you didn't mention, I don't know if you were partnering with somebody before, but I thought you all used to do powder coating.
We did powder coating. We actually, last year, we had bought out a powder coating company. I can't say too much on that because it didn't work out to the best of its abilities. Put it this way, it was a very, very expensive lesson to learn. Very expensive. We still offer powder coating. We actually use a company up north that does it for us. They do great work. We're very transparent with people. Like, hey, if you want to do powder coating, like we just use these guys, but we have to charge you more because obviously we need to make a margin too.
Yeah.
But we don't really advertise it. We don't really care for it. It's not our bread and butter. The only reason we do it is just to complete the package. So a lot of people will spend $10,000 on something else and then add powder coating in there just to really complete that package. So that's why we offer it.
Okay. And so let's take apart this business. So we talk about actually what we do. Let's talk about some of the behind the scenes things. So let's talk about the marketing.
Yeah. So marketing, before this year, we actually didn't do marketing. Like our normal advertising that I was telling you, that's like your amateur marketing. That's, if you go on Facebook and you search for vinyl wrap, you'll find 50 people that do it out of their garage, people that do it at a very small shop. This year, we really learned marketing, like what marketing actually is. And this is what I wish I learned back in business school. Marketing, what we do for marketing is we do Google advertising. We do SEO on Google. So our website got rebuilt. We do a lot of SEO.
What does SEO stand for, just so everybody knows?
SEO, search engine optimization. So I'm going to be honest, I am not great with, all the technical side, all the technical, terms or whatnot, but I do know what each part plays, right? That's my job. I just have to know what it's good for, what it does, and how we need to do it. So we hire people that do all of that. So they rebuilt the website, put SEO in the background. SEO just makes it where if you're Googling a wrap shop, you pop up more frequently. You have a higher chance of popping up. We also do a lot of organic social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We call it, Meta, mostly Instagram and Facebook. And that pretty much covers everything. Yeah, so we do Meta advertising, Google advertising, and organic advertising. So those are the three advertising slash marketing things that we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the customer service, I think that takes on a whole different life of their own of
Yeah.
its own.
Yeah.
I think because when we talk about organic, I think one thing that really helps out. My wife does it often. That's like her Bible when it comes to companies.
Yeah.
She goes to the reviews.
Yep.
Like the reviews are a huge thing.
Yep.
If the reviews are not good, we are not going there.
Yeah.
And so how much time or who does the customer care for you all?
So you mean like who gets them to give a review?
Get them to give a review, but who is making sure that start to finish the customer is taken care of?
Honestly, all of us.
Okay.
All of us, because it really does start. Here's the thing: is every single detail is important, and this is how you really have to succeed, right? You can't just like slack in one spot. You really, if you want to be better than everyone, you have to do everything better than everyone, right? So it starts with marketing. The first video that you watch, is this a friendly face? Is this a good video? Is this informative? Is this entertaining, right? Then from there, you probably click a button and it might ask you, hey, what's your full name? What's the year, make, and model? What are you interested in? Because you might have some interest. Then it goes to sales. You have to have salespeople that are very good over the phone. You have to have salespeople that are very knowledgeable. You have to know how to sell. You have to know when to sell and when not to sell. You have to know your product in and out, And the biggest thing is you have to deliver value, because this person is just interested in something. You can't just say, hey, this is $1,000. You want it or not? No, like you have to deliver, like, what are you looking for? How long do you plan on keeping your car? Like, you have to deliver value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, let's just say they're like, you know what? I like everything you said. You guys have great videos. Let me give you $1,000. Okay, well, now it comes down to fulfilling that order. If we don't fulfill that order right, if we're horrible at our jobs and we just drop the ball and mess up the paint and yada yada yada, break the car, right? These 6-figure cars, if we break everything, the work's not good. Doesn't matter how good the marketing videos are. Doesn't matter how good the sales is. If you suck, you suck, and then you will notice that in your Google reviews. So every part plays a role, from our marketing team to our content team to our sales team to our fulfillment team, all of our installers, down to obviously me, who's, hey, what can we do better? What can we fix? Like, no business is perfect. So I would say, to answer your question in a nutshell, everyone is important in that. Everyone plays a role in the entire process of it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then, so we talk about all these different roles that you have within your company. And earlier I was speaking about, partially joking, but partially serious as well, when it came to taking apart, hundreds of $1,000s car parts and all that kind of stuff. How have you selected this team? How have you built this team out? What does that look like? How many people do you have?
So right now we have about a team of 10 people. I do sales still. We also have another girl in front that does sales. We have a good handful of, most of our team is going to be installers. So we have a good handful of installers. And then we have our content team as well. So there's guys that make the content, and then we have our marketing team. And then we also have some subcontractors where, like, if we have to call in some extra help, they'll help us out every now and then. We try to keep everything in-house. But what was the question again?
Essentially, I was trying to get to like the delegation. I was asking how many people you had, but when it comes to a delegation, how do you know when it's time for you to step away? How did you find that the divide for you?
Dude, that's very important. You have to delegate. In order to be a shop of this size, like, dude, the overhead alone you're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, yeah, I mean, if I really had to and if I really needed to, I could probably pay it by myself and, like, be the salesperson, the content creator, and the installer. I'd burn myself out in a matter of like a month. Yeah, we would be capped out because I'm the bottleneck. I can't grow past myself. So everyone always says, and I hear this all the time, is like, oh, it's hard to find good people. You don't find good people. You build good people. So that's the lesson that I've learned over the years, because I've had a lot of employees over the years, and it also comes down to the type of leader you are to keep good people, because good people don't want to work for bad people. You know, good people have a good thing going and they know it. So they want to work for someone that's going to help them grow. And you have to help them grow in ways that most people won't help them grow. So you definitely have to delegate, but you have to delegate to the right people. Because if you delegate to the wrong people, right, delegation is very important, but if you delegate to the wrong people, you're going to give yourself 2 times a headache. If you delegate to the right people, you're going to make life 2 times easier and you're going to go 2 times faster. So there's definitely 2 parts to that where it's very important, but you just have to do it correctly.
Yeah, and so we broke down the business. Let's break down the finances.
Okay.
So when it comes to building out this 7-figure business,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell us a little bit about how much roundabout you put in each bucket? So we talked about the marketing, we talked about the installation, actual labor, we talked about the sales. Like what does all that look like? Percentages.
Very expensive. Goes back to you have to pay to play. So because you need a building, right? Because without a building, you can't do any work whatsoever. The building alone, that's gonna cost you, overhead, which is the building, gas, electric. Because you could have the building, but if you have no electric, you can't work. Gas, electric, water, all of that. That's at least $15,000 on a building of this size.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, going back to the $800 of the first shop that I had and then the $150 of the U-Haul unit that I had, $15,000 is a lot of money,
For
So
sure.
it's definitely 6 figures just to have the building. But there's a lot of parts to it. So financially, you got 6 figures a year for the building alone. Then you have, and this is just to operate, not including any labor, not including any material, right? You have marketing, right? So you have to bring in the leads. Marketing, you can spend as little as like $1,000, $2,000 a month. I used to spend like $300 a month. We are now spending close to like 10 to 15K a month. So we take our marketing very seriously. Again, you have to pay to play, and like if we do something wrong, that's an expensive thing. That's just marketing. Sales, you have a lot of like software and systems that you have to pay for. That can definitely be a couple grand a month. Just with how we're booking our clients, how we're keeping in contact with our clients. Something as simple as like our phone number being useful, our website being up. If we don't pay those bills every single month, they'll go down. So that's a couple $1,000 right there. After that, you have your insurance. You need to have insurance. Mm-hmm. That's going to be, it's not crazy expensive compared to everything else, but it's definitely like another $10,000, $20,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Depending on what kind of insurance you have, what your, all your policy details, stuff like that. But you definitely need to have a good policy because we have a lot of nice cars. So we have to make sure we have a policy that covers it. And then you get into the cost of your labor. That is always very expensive. I mean, you have guys that are making 6 figures a year alone, right? So then you multiply that by 10. It's a lot of money coming out.
And I guess that makes a lot of sense because, once again, going back to the term you keep saying, you got to pay to play.
Yep.
And like sometimes you get what you pay for as well.
Yes.
Like you can't try to lowball these people.
Yep.
And think that you're going to get a quality person to do the work for you.
Yep.
So I think it's very important what you said. Like sometimes you got to pay to play. Sometimes you got to take that on the chin. You got to realize that I'm getting a quality person. Obviously vet them, but if you see as a quality person, take care of them. So then that way they stick with you and then they help you build. Yeah. I do want to. We've been kind of bouncing around. We've been talking about to kind of break down the business, talk about some shortfalls, some struggles, some education on how to do it. But let's talk about some of the upside. What is the upside of being in this space, of not detailing cars, but wrapping of cars?
Yeah.
But then also just being an entrepreneur. What does that upside look like for you?
Yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing is like the upside of being an entrepreneur and the upside to this business is we got to make money, right? We could talk about how much we spend, the nice shop we have, but none of that matters if we're not making money, right? Nothing's fun if you're not making money. You could have the best thing in the world going for you and you could love it, but if you're not making money, you're not having fun. The reason I got into this was because I had moved out on my own I needed to grow up. I needed to be a man. I wanted to buy my own house. I wanted to buy my own cars. I always loved cars. And I just wanted to take care of myself and also try to take care of my family, you know? So we have to make some money. Now, you can make, and going back to like the original part in the video, like you can definitely make a comfortable wage in this. And comfortable meaning 6 figures. Comfortable is a very objective
Subjective,
term. Yeah. So like, 6 figures to some is a lot, 6 figures to others is nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you could definitely make 6 figures in this, which is $100,000 a year. You could definitely make way more than 6 figures if you are going to be on the entrepreneurial side, where you can make millions and millions of dollars. You can make hundreds of thousands of dollars, investments, all that stuff. But you also have to understand what you're signing up for. Mm-hmm. If you want to be an entrepreneur and if you want to get results that most people don't have, you have to do things that most people don't do. That's risk. That's failing. That's trying new things. That's not knowing what's going to work out and still trying to make it work out. That's problem solving. That's getting up every single day when you don't want to anymore because the motivation went away, the dream went away, because you still believe in that long-term goal. That's where all that comes from. Yeah.
That's huge, because I think that happens so often. I think, who said this quote? I don't know if it's Elon Musk, or I don't know who said it, but they were saying that if you quit, you never really wanted it anyway. Yeah. Because that motivation, I think, is very fleeting. Yeah. Because it's something that could just spark you really quick. Oh, yeah, I'm ready to do this thing. But then reality sets in. Yeah. And then we start looking at analytics. Whether it's on social media, looking at the likes, the views, the shares, whatever, or if you're looking at the financials, things are not really working right now. Are we gonna battle through this, or are we just gonna quit?
Yeah, dude, motivation can get crushed in an instant. You can never ever put your success on motivation. Motivation's like caffeine. You drink it, you get the caffeine, you feel good, but then what happens? You'll crash, and when you crash, you still have to be able to push forward. So motivation is a great starter. I personally started this business based off of anger, which is also a very good starter because you want to prove everyone wrong. Like I said, I got into this because everyone thought I was going to be a loser. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be a loser. I'm going to make something of myself, I mean, I bought my house at 21 years old. Was able to buy my cars. I've always had multiple cars. Like I recently had an Audi R8. That's a dream for a lot of people. I don't have it anymore, but that's a dream for a lot of people. I've had a lot of nice cars and stuff like that, but I started with anger. But then that also burns like motivation, where it burns hot and it'll go. And so you have to find, okay, what's my reason why? And honestly, if you can just be consistent, it doesn't matter what you do. If you could just be consistent and find a way to be the best, you will make money. And that's pretty much the purpose of it.
Yeah, I like that purpose and that reason why. Yeah. I feel like it's so important. You've been interweaving this into everything you've been saying. Yeah. And I think that's very huge. So now, if we can get into, I want to build out a tangible blueprint for the audience out there if they're trying to get into this space, and especially in this time, because now when you started, it was newer. It wasn't new, but it was newer.
Yep.
Now it's I think it's a pretty big.
It's a pretty big market now. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty big market. Would you recommend that they get into it? And then B, can you give them a blueprint of how they could get into it successfully at this time?
Yeah, 100%. So this time's going to be a little bit different than then. Can't really do Craigslist, can't really do Facebook. It's just everything's too saturated. What would I do? If I was speaking to my younger self and I wanted to get into this right now,
would you recommend it first?
100%.
Okay.
I mean, you can make money. If you like cars, there's a lot of guys that I know that wanted to be mechanics. This is like that dream mechanic job where you don't get dirty, you get to work on nice cars, you get to get paid a lot of money, you get AC heated shop, you get nice floors. Like this is like the dream mechanic job that you could have, So I would 100% recommend it, especially if you like cars, or it's not rocket science. It's nothing's really that difficult about it. So I would recommend it 100%. Now, how would I start? And that is a really good question. Honestly, I would start by working for somebody. Completely different than how I started. And I would start by working for someone because here's the thing is you can get all the training and all the knowledge instead of like trying it the hard way. You can get most of what to do and a lot of what to not do from working for another big good company. That's the key word there, is a good company, a good official company. Now the thing is if you're getting into this, you are not going to be of any value to a good company because you're asking them to train you, you're asking them to pay you, you're asking them to hire you. So if I was in my younger position, I would keep my daytime job so that I can make a little bit of money on the side, and I would 100% work for free.
And I wanted to ask, how would they know when they can start charging clients for stuff? So, and doing this ethically too, because I think it's a good principle that you bring up, or a good idea that you bring up, to work for somebody else.
Yes.
Because at that point, in my opinion, you're getting paid to learn,
Yeah.
and you're getting paid for the expertise, and it's somewhat of a mentorship, because they're teaching you, or apprenticeship. They're teaching you how to do things the right way.
Yeah.
Ethically, how can they begin to start their own business then from there?
We got to be smart, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you have $3,000, don't just go out and buy supplies and sign up for a shop and think you're going to succeed. Like, we shouldn't do that. If I could do this again, I'd work for someone for free, get to a paid point where I would show up early every single day. I'd stay late every single day. I'd learn the absolute most. I'd go home and digest everything I learned and keep learning so that I can get to the point where I can start getting paid by these guys. Then from that point, once I start making some money, I'd quit my daytime job and just work for this company solely. Probably do it for about a year, maybe 2 years. Just depends. It depends if you want to do window tinting, ceramic coating. But I would be there to learn the skill, but also to learn what to do, what not to do, and to make some money. So I'd do 3 things at once. Learn the skill, learn what to do and what not to do as a business, see what works, what doesn't work for them, and then also to save some money. By the end of the first year or the second year, I would hope that at least you have $10,000 saved up. You know, you shouldn't be spending it. You should save as much as you can, have $10,000 saved up. You don't need a lot to start this business out of a smaller shop, but I would come up with a game plan. Hey, this is what I'm going to do first for marketing. This is what I'm going to do second. This is what I'm going to do third. This is the type of location I have. I would put everything on paper and make sure I can pay everything, you know. Before, when I first started, I didn't do that. I just said, screw it, let me try it, right? I would not do that. I would know how much it's going to cost me, how much I need to make, and then if everything sounds right, it'll probably cost you, less than $5,000 to start doing something as simple as window tinting. You know, you don't need to buy a fancy equipment, anything like that. You just need a thing of tools, a heat gun, and you can start making a couple $100 a day. That's how it would start, and then from there, you'll know if you're ready for it or not. And then from there, you'll start making money. And, to go back to your question, when do you know you can start charging clients? If you're going to do it yourself, you have to be able to do the job yourself, right? You can't just say, hey, I'm going to tint your windows and then not be able to tint your windows. If you don't plan to do it yourself and you want to be the business owner, that's fine, but you have to know who you're going to hire. And then you also have to know what happens when they quit. So you have to be smart. This is a game of chess. A lot of people are playing checkers and then they get burnt out very quickly. And they're like, oh, this didn't work out. He did something differently. No, it's just he's playing chess. He had a plan B. He had a plan C. He really put some thought through it. And that's why he's doing a lot better. Like I said, if you want different results, you have to do something different.
Yeah. And I like what you're saying here, because we're not talking astronomical numbers. But I think one thing that's probably that might deter a lot of the audience is that the time that you're putting on it. Yeah. We're not talking days, we're not talking weeks, we're not talking months. We're talking years. Yeah. And you said not only 1 year, maybe 2 years. Yeah. We sit down and be strategic with this. Yeah. Because we talk about going back to the burnout. You're getting out there without a plan, and then what you're doing, and now we're talking about liability as well. Yeah. When you're working with some of these higher end cars, you have to be mindful. You better be mindful, because they can really land you in a world of trouble. And I think it's very important that you're talking about not rushing into anything, sitting down, taking notes, being strategic about the profit margin, being strategic about the amount of time we take to actually learn about this stuff, because the market is steady changing as well. You made the strategic decision to go from just vinyl to PPF. And so I think that's very huge. I know a lot of listeners might exit that out because we want it now. We're so in a what's the name of it? Instant gratification.
Yeah.
We want things now.
Dude, 100%.
But we're talking 8 or 9 years. You've been in this going hard.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you want, here's what I'll tell everyone is like, if you want instant money, go to the casino, put it on black, like put it on red, and that's your chances of. Honestly, you have better chances at putting it on black than you do at trying to start a business and have instant gratification. You will fail. There's a huge failure rate in business. What I was told, and this is the hardest thing to grasp, especially when you're in your younger 20s, because you go on social media, you see everyone flexing this and that and yada, yada, yada. We are in a industry or a society, like you said, that wants instant gratification. Most of these kids that have all these nice things, little do like most people know, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. Now they make a lot more money than we do, but they're not spending it or investing it or saving it or anything. So when that finally comes down, these guys are going to be broke. They're going to sell off the cars. They're going to get rid of their houses, all of that stuff. The long game is the short game. The short game will always be the long game. What I mean by that is, when I ran this business, I used to do anything and everything in between. So my mind, I was flipping cars at some point. I was renting out like a Corvette, an Escalade. I was doing van rentals. When COVID first started, I was doing Class B van rentals. It's almost like a UPS truck size where it has a kitchen inside the van, and I would rent those out. I was doing so many things on the side that hindered my growth. And when I decided to stop chasing all these different avenues, because you got all these like knuckleheads that are saying, oh, you need multiple streams of income. Dude, first of all, you need to focus on one stream and get that stream right before you start diversifying. Diversifying $10 is nothing, So you have to play the long game. You have to be consistent. If you can't be consistent, even when you don't see, like, no one's going to promise you that you're going to make it. That's the whole purpose of entrepreneurship. No one's going to say, hey, after 2 years, you're going to make it. It might take 5, it might take 10, it might take 15. But if you work through that, you will make it. You could do whatever you want in life, but the long game is the short game. And the short game, I promise you're going to waste 10 years of your life. You're going to start playing the long game where you wish you would have gone back in time. You would have just been consistent at that one thing. You only have to be consistent at one thing. It's not hard. The hard part is being dedicated and consistent. That's the hard part.
Yeah, I love that too. Like keeping the main thing. Because admittedly, transparently, I want to say I was like on the bandwagon for that diversify, but it kind of makes sense because the whole thing we're talking about, don't put your eggs in one basket. Yeah. But I think like social media just takes things and runs with it. Yeah. And when we talk about, like you said, diversify, you can't really diversify $10, $100, $1,000. It's hard to really diversify that. You got to keep the main thing, and build that up to where it's something sustainable and actually notable. And then we could kind of do something from there.
Exactly. Dude, I even used to do day trading.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, like I
got burned.
I just thought, hey, what's the hottest thing? I lost $120,000 in day trading.
You got me beat by a lot.
It's stupid, but I don't mean that as a flex by obviously any means, right? Because I wish I still had that money. I would have gone and bought another R8. I say that because I would have had more fun going to Vegas, putting it on black, having a party, popping some bottles of champagne. But instead, I decided to sit at home and gamble $120,000 away on day trading because I thought, hey, instant gratification. That was back in like 21, 22. That's my whole goal is if I just stuck to my business aesthetic styling, I would have at minimal been $120,000 richer today. I could have invested that. That's what, 2 houses maybe, single family homes that I could rent out. If you want to, play the small game, I could have put that into a 401k. I could have put that into retirement. I could have put that into investments. I could have gifted that away. Like, the moral of the story is that 120k is gone, and I won't get that back. But what I will gain from that is the short game or the long game is the short game. Being consistent on one thing is the fastest way to get to success. It just takes time.
And man, I had a question I want to piggyback off of that.
Yeah.
Oh, so we talk about work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
What is I feel like you have unique takes and you kind of go against some of the status quo.
Yeah.
I have my personal take on it. What is your take on work-life balance? That term.
It's a fugazi. It's a fugazi. It's not there. It's not real. Work-life balance is what you make it, right? A lot of people, and I get this from my family a lot, is, oh, you work so much, like take a break, spend the weekend with family, go to church, seek God, stuff like that, right? My personal take is I am a very ambitious person. Again, it goes back to, if you want to get different results, you have to do things differently. In the beginning, it was hard to accept work-life balance, like what it is and what it's not. My personal take on work-life balance is it is what you make it to be. So if some people, they don't have a lot of family or they don't have a lot of personal life because they really like to just work and that's their bread and butter, that is their work-life balance. You eat some breakfast in the morning, you work 12 hours a day, you get home, you watch a quick TV show, you go to bed. If that's work-life balance for them, there you go. That's how work-life balance works for me. But then you got a lot of people, it's like, hey, no, you need to grow your personal relationships and spend personal time. And it's like, if that's important, you will make time. To this day, I still work 60, 70 hours a week. I still get to see family. I still get to spend time with my girlfriend. I still get to spend time with friends. It's a long, very busy day, sometimes mentally, mental tax, but that's my work-life balance.
Okay. And in that, you're operating a business, obviously has grown immensely now. What is the challenge that shaped this whole journey for you, changed your whole perspective on this business? Or one event, either a challenge or event, what has shaped your whole journey?
I can't even pinpoint it to one because, there's been a lot of, 2024 is a rough year, right? And what I mean by that is, I was broke, went down to $3,000, still had a team of employees I had to take care of, was a lot in debt because I didn't budget correctly, just a lot of bad things that went wrong in that year. But it's not even a challenge. I think the most important thing that I learned from these group of just challenges in my entrepreneurial journey is this entire time, I personally thought, my personal belief was, I'm building this business. But the more wise I get, the more people I talk to, especially very successful people, what I'm starting to realize is I'm not building this business. This business is building me. My business is a direct reflection of who I am and how I operate and how good I am. Business is a game, just like Monopoly, just like, checkers. Business is a game. We are all playing this game. Some people are way better at playing than others, but like I said, I wouldn't pinpoint it to one specific thing. I would just say as a whole, it pushed me to be better, where this year I did a lot of self-development, mentally, physically, emotionally. I had hired mentors. I have hired life coaches. I have done a lot of personal training, stuff like that. I'm seeing that direct reflection where my business has been skyrocketing this last year. Even though we cut off 50% of our revenue from vinyl wraps, my business has almost doubled since last year. So it is a reflection of me. Your personal relationships, reflection of who you are. Mm-hmm. If you have a lot of them, then that means you're really good at personal relationships. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I think.
And so you dove into some of the physical, mental, emotional. Can we talk a little bit, because I do want to wrap up, but I do want to get into, I think it's very important, about the upkeep of yourself. Yeah. Because we're going through a lot. Yeah. We're going through a lot of stress. Like you said, 2024 was a rough year. Yeah. You're down pretty low. Mm-hmm. What did that upkeep look like for you, and how important was that? And how important for that is the viewers to take and make sure that if they're pursuing this business or any business, that they have some self-upkeep?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you're a machine, but machines still break. Right, you have to keep it nice and oil. You gotta lubricate it. You gotta keep it running. Right, so you have to. Honestly, it all starts mentally. you have to make sure that it's always going to be a challenge, but you always have to make sure that you keep a clear head and that you find your base, you find like what keeps you going. Then it goes to physically, the way that you eat, the way that you exercise. I always believed in exercise. You know, it scientifically like helps you, but also you look good, you feel good, right? You're more confident. You think, yay, whatever it is, I can do it. Then it goes to emotionally. You know, you have to make sure that you keep grounded emotionally, because business will test you in every way, shape, or form. It'll make you cry. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you stressed out. Like, it'll make you question why you're doing it. So you have to keep grounded there. And then this is the one part that I would personally say, but spiritually, I am not a huge spiritual person, but I do believe in God. And I do, try to pray every now and then, and I do seek a God. I would always tell everyone, like, hey, if you don't believe in God, try it. Spiritually, it will just fill something in you that you can't really find anywhere else. So I would always, tell people to do that too.
I like it. I like it. So we're wrapping up. One last question I always ask all the guests. What is one quote or one saying or tidbit of advice that has molded who you are as a person? Not just the entrepreneur, but as a person.
A quote. I actually have a quote tattooed on my chest that I got when I was 18, and I think that's my favorite quote still to this day. It says, "I'm not afraid of failing. I'm afraid of not trying hard enough." If you try hard enough at anything, you won't fail. Yeah. That's my favorite quote.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think that's so true. I think, how do I want to phrase this? I think the idea of success and failure is an illusion.
Yeah. It is what you make it to be.
Because if you succeed, what does that mean? Let's say I hit the, not even hit the lottery, because that's a anomaly, but let's say I do good, I have a good year in business.
Yeah.
We count that as a win.
Mm-hmm.
The next 5 years can be terrible. I can lose my business.
Yeah.
So did I really win or no?
Yeah, I mean, success is what you make it to be. Like, I get a lot of people that reach out to me and they're like, hey, like, I just want to be successful. How do I do it? I'm like, what does success look like for you? I have people that say, I just want to be comfortable. Like, a lot of it's financially for a lot of people, especially when we don't have a lot of money. Like, we want to get money, right? We want to make money. But once you start making, and I'm not even a multimillionaire yet, but this is something that I'm happy that I do understand, is once you do start making a lot of money, money isn't the motive. Like, money, once you make that money, it's such an empty feeling that you have to find something else to chase. You have to find a love for the game as an entrepreneur. But yeah, success is what you make it to be. So you have a glass of water halfway. Do you have a half glass empty or a half glass full? That is what failure is. That's what success is. If I told you, most people will say, hey, if I lost this job, or if I lost this customer, or if I lost this money, like, I failed. But what if I told you, by law, you have to fail 3 times to be successful on the 4th?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you want to fail those 3 times a lot faster?
Yeah.
Then it's not failure. It's just a to-do task.
Mm-hmm.
So it's exactly what you make it to be. But for someone that hasn't tested that concept mentally, I think they should look into that, because like I said, as an entrepreneur, for me specifically, my job is to fail. It's so weird to say, but I have to fail, because if I don't make a mistake, how would I ever learn? How would I ever know what to do different? Like, that is literally my job, is to put out fires and to fail.
Yeah.
But the way that I look at it is, that's just my job.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as I'm failing. I just look at it as like, yeah, I made a mistake. You could make fun of me. You could beat me down if you want to. But deep down, my confidence level is, I made that mistake so I can figure out what's right. I'm going to get it right on that 10th time when I failed 9 times. Yep.
And I heard a similar saying. I forgot who said it, but it was talking about, it's a to-do list item. It's just an item that has to be fulfilled. It's a debt.
Yeah.
You have to pay down that failure debt,
Mm-hmm.
so you can get to that win.
Yep. Failure debt, that time debt, that effort debt, all of that. You got to pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it comes too easy, I promise you, for those guys, like I said, go to the casino, put it on black if you want to. It's the stupidest thing you could ever do, but I mean, if you want to do that, do it. Even if you won the lottery, like a lot of people play the lottery. If you won the lottery and you made $10 million, dude, I guarantee you're probably going to be happy for a year, and that's about it, because you're not even going to want to know. You don't even know what to do with that money. You could give it away. You could buy everything in the world. People are going to come after you because you have this money now, and then you'll be like, damn, like this didn't fulfill what I thought it would fulfill. So you got to be careful.
Yeah. Back to that purpose. Like,
Yeah.
What are you doing this for? What is fulfilling? What is your why?
Yeah.
It's a very impactful interview. Before we wrap up, is there any lasting words or thoughts that we didn't get to that you want to give to the audience?
It's a good question.
We went over a lot.
Yeah, we did. I would say if you are younger, or if you didn't have the guidance and you just know that you can do more for yourself or more in life, just try to do it. Whatever that means, right? Like I said, for everyone it's different. If you want to go to school, go to school. If you want to start a business, start a business. Just do it strategically. Come up with a game plan. If you want a different result than everyone else has, you have to do things different. You have to wake up early. You have to get to the grind. You have to make sure you're putting in the right inputs, right? It's not just about working hard. You could work hard at washing cars all day, every day, but you're never going to be a multimillionaire. But you have to make sure you're putting in the right inputs. The right inputs multiplied by time will get you the right outputs. So, yeah, just got to keep with it. Keep consistent. It's a lot of, like, very general stuff. But, I mean, there's no secret. Bro, there's no secret to success.
But that's what I'm learning. Like the trite sayings, the monotonous whatever that's what's true. Like winning, being successful, though I said it's an illusion, is not sexy. Like there's nothing sexy about getting to it.
Hell no.
It's just doing the same things over and over and over again.
Dude, the wealthiest clients that I have do the most boring jobs. But they're not doing it because of the job. Like, a lot of people that go to school, they're like, oh, I want to be a vet. I want to be a doctor, this and that. Like, okay, that's great, These guys, they're playing a different game. They're not doing it because they like the job. They're doing it because they like the game. The game of struggle, the game of risk, the game of huge reward, the game of problem solving. It's a completely different game. You just got to understand how the rules are played. And then it doesn't matter what you do. Like, if you took all this away from me today and you put me in, I don't know, a dental office, dude, it's the same game. I still got marketing. I still got sales. I still got to fulfill the, whatever patients I book. I'll kill it, I don't care what game I'm playing, or I don't care what I'm doing. I just care that the game that I'm playing is business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, man. You are a wealth of knowledge.
I learned a lot.
Yeah, I could tell.
Learned a lot.
I could tell. How can people get in touch with you? How could they come maybe get a service done at your facility? Can we get the handles, your location?
Yeah, so we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. It's at aestheticstyling.co. I know that's kind of hard to spell, but it's AESTHETIC styling, STYLING.co. You can get in contact with us there. If you are looking to get in contact with me directly, you could always DM the Instagram. One of my guys will get it over to me. You could call in. You could email. You could email sales@aestheticstyling.co. If you ever want work done, we're here in the Naperville, Illinois area. If you ever want to visit, dude, like I'm more than happy to show anyone our location. I'm more than happy to talk with people. The biggest thing is going back to time. I am very limited on time, so if you're going to reach out to me, make it good. Don't just say, hey, I'm interested in learning something. Like, tell me the reason why, give me some depth. I read those messages all day, every day. Like put some bone in there, and then I'll get to see, like, okay, yeah, let's bring this guy by and let's talk to him. But yeah, if you ever want to come by, you're more than welcome to.
I like that a lot. I think that's a huge thing too. Just, man, we could keep going. We could really
it's good,
keep
man.
going.
It's a good podcast.
Because that's something that I'm wrapping up, I promise. But
no, do
like
your
that,
thing.
That is something that's really important too, is knowing that when you're reaching out, I'm gonna use this term, to high value people, or to very busy people, successful people, you have to be intentional with your ask.
Yes.
And you have to be strategic with it, because these are busy people,
Mm-hmm.
and you only have one time to make a first impression.
100%.
You can maybe recover from that later on, but that first impression is going to last. So once you reach out, like he said, put some thought behind it. Don't ask a general basic question.
Yeah.
Let's get strategic with it, and let's see how. One thing I like to try to do is, how can I provide value?
Yes.
How can I make this thing really worth it for that person?
Yeah. Yeah, like my thing is like, dude, if I spend an hour with someone on like my week to week day, that's just another hour added to my day. It doesn't mean I get to go home at the same time. Like if I meant to leave at 5, which I never do, I typically leave at 7, but that means I'm there to 8. So I have to really like you for me to want to talk to you for a whole nother hour, because I got other things to do, you know? And even wealthier people, they're the same exact way. If you're going to reach out, and I mean this in the most humblest way, if you're reaching out from a position where you don't want to be, and you want to be in that mentor's position. So if this case, if it was me, if you're reaching out to me, understand that you can deliver no value. I say that in the nicest way, because you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the education, you don't even have a business. Like, you're asking me to give something to you that's very expensive for me to give, because I value my time. But if you offer something in return, whether it could be something as simple as like, hey, can I steal 5 minutes from you? Like, this is my backstory. Put effort in there. This is my backstory. This is what I'm interested in doing. These are the steps that I've taken so far. Like, if you're sitting at home watching this podcast and you're gonna reach out, I probably won't talk to you. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't have that time. But there are like we had an apprentice in yesterday. First time I've ever done an apprenticeship. She was with us the entire day. She was learning from my guys. I asked her, "What's your reason why? Why do you want to get into this?" She said, "Look, I'm willing to come in, help your guys for free. Don't pay me. I will show up early. I'll be in late. I'll do whatever you need me to do. I just want to learn." And she's like, "If it doesn't work out the first day, like, you could tell me straight up and I won't be there. But like, I promise you, like, I will help your guys." We were really busy yesterday, so I was like, "Okay, yeah, come on by. What's the worst I can?" Zero risk to me, and it worked out great. And now I can see that this person's a hard worker. And I mean, she was only here for one day, but I don't know. In 6 months, who knows? We might give her a job offer. So just make it intentional. Give effort. We have to, even to some people, if they have $500 in the bank, dude, I know $500 is a lot of money. If you offer me $500, like, I promise you, I'm not going to take it. But it's just that intent of like, oh, this dude's really willing to like sacrifice what he has left for this 1 hour. So he does value it. It's just little stuff like that. A big thing for me is if I ever reach out to like a buddy or someone else that I'll buy something for the team. Hey, what kind of food do you guys like? Like, I'll order you guys food. If I go to a dealership, let me order you guys food. Like, what are your sales guys like? Like, I'll take care of them. Sometimes I'll even just give them $100. Hey, if you get nothing out of this conversation, that's fine. I didn't do my job, but let me give you $100 no matter what. I value your time. If I didn't deliver, that's on me.
Yeah. I like that a lot, man.
Yeah.
Some stuff I'm gonna take with me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man.
This was a great conversation.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you giving me some of your time, giving us some of your time. I hope that the audience received this well. And there's a lot of nuggets weaving all throughout this conversation. So I really hope that they pick up on this. Thank you all once again for tuning in to Prosperity and Education. Just remember that we cannot prosper and grow without education. We have to take the time, we have to do our due diligence, and we have to be intentional about growing. And as always, let's make sure we spread the love. And we're out.
Sweet. That was good.
It was, man. It was.